Guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be making more like an off-shoulder dress with gathers by the side, but there will be a strap attached back to it, so it's likely not an off-shoulder. So for this class we'll be using our Ankara for this class. If you've not liked, share or subscribe to my channel, what are you waiting for? Please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Okay, so let's get into it proper. So the length of her dress is 38. So I'll be drafting this on the pattern. If this was not the tutorial, I would have done this on my fabric directly, but for the sake of those that want to learn. Okay, so the length of her dress is 38. So I'll be adding the difference between her front half length and her back half length to it, because I would add like more like a bustier to it, because I needed to pack her bust. So 38 plus the difference between her front half length and her back half length is 2 inches. That's 40. Okay. So 40 would be the length of the dress for the front, because my sewing allowance 1 inch. That will be 41. So for the total length of this pattern, we have 40 and a half. So I'll just work with this and note down my half an inch on my fabric. I will add it here. Add 0.5 to the fabric when I'm cutting. So I will impute all my measurements now. Her shoulder is 8.5. So I'll form that into a square. 8.5. I won't be needing any sewing allowance. Okay. For the shoulder, because I said it's an off shoulder. So I just want to show us how I do it on pattern, then apply that to my fabric. 8.5. Okay. My bust point is 11.5 plus my sewing allowance, which is 12. I hope you can see the pencil marks from afar. Okay, which is 12. Her under bust is 15, which is at 15.5. Her front half length is 18, which is at 18.5. Okay, with my sewing allowance. And from that front half length, I would use her hip depth to be 7 plus my sewing allowance, which is 7.5. I really don't need the hip measurement, but let's just put that into consideration while we're drafting this. Okay, so I'll roll all lines out rightly and come back. So I've gone ahead to roll all my lines now. So what I'll do next is impute my darts. Yes, from my darts all the way down from the top. No, all the way down. So my dart is 8 with my sewing allowance. 8 divided by 2, which is 4 with my sewing allowance, because I'm going to cut it out, which is at 4.5. Okay, so I'll take it all the way 4.5. So this is my chest line, bust points, under bust, front half length, which is my waist, and this is my hip. Okay, so I'll take the 4.5 all the way. I really do not need my shoulder measurements. If I was drafting on my fabric, I would have just done this and take out what I want, but I'm just showing us for tutorial sake. Okay, so I'm rolling all lines now. So I'll determine the amount of what I want to take out. She wants her boobs to show a bit, so I would find the difference between my bust point and my under bust so I can locate where I will take out the off shoulder from. So the difference between the bust point and the under bust is 3.5. So I will take out another 3.5. Okay, so this is perfect for showing cleavage. I can start my off the shoulder from here. But what I will do next is impute my darts. My darts for my center fold, my CF will be 1 inch. At this point, this other side, center, the side piece, I'll take out 1.5. So the same thing I took out from my under bust, I'll take it at my waistline as well. Okay, then at my hip line, I would come up 3 inches more. Okay, I don't want that to go all the way down. Yes, I want it to go all the way down, but I'm not taking out any intake from the hip point. Okay, so I would roll this line accurately, just like you join your basic dart, but this I'm taking out that like a bustier. Okay, the bustier dart. So I'm rolling this and I'm rolling this as well to this point. So what I'll do next is from my bust point, I'll come down 0.5 or 0.75. Okay, she's a shoulder 8.5, so let's do 0.75. Okay, so at this point I would use my French curve now to connect the curve together like a bustier, like a cup. So the point is hitting my bust, the 0.75 I came down by, so it's hitting it directly. So I hope you can see it clearly now. So remember, this is our starting point now. Here is our starting point. So you don't want her, when she wears her dress, you don't want the boobs falling off from her chest line. So I would also take out my darts from there. At this point I'll take out 0.75 on both sides. I'll take out 0.75 on both sides of the dress. Okay, and connect it back to this point which I came up by again. Remember, I came down by 0.75 on the bust point, and I also came up by 0.75 on the bust point. So I'll connect all these lines together. So I don't want it looking too sharp, so I will contour with my hand and my free hand. So this is how our dress will be looking like with the darts. So I'll go ahead and impute my bust measurement. Her bust is 44. Okay, her bust is 44 divided by 4, which is 11. I'll go ahead and add +2 or +3 inches to it. That would include my sewing allowance and everything. I'll go to the waist and impute her waist measurement. Her waist is 40, which is divided by 4, which is at 10. Okay, then I will include back my darts, which is at 2.5, plus my sewing allowance to join it together 3 inches. Then I will need 2 inches as my sewing allowance. Okay, so the hip, I really don't need the hip, but let's just impute it to augment the dress stuff. Okay, her hip is 52 divided by 4, which is 13. 2 divided by 4, which is 13. Okay, and I will need half an inch to join the darts together. Okay, I'll need half an inch to join the darts together, and I will need 2 inches for my sewing allowance, so approximately 2.5. Okay, so I really don't need the hip, so whatever it is I have here, I'll take it down to the lower part of the dress. 15.5. So I'll make all connections now. So we have a French ball. So for my whatever I have on the bust point, also I'll take it to my new chest line. On the bust point, I'll take it to my new chest line. 14. I'll do 14.5. Because I'll still retake this measurement when I'm done sewing this clothes together. I will take the measurement all over again. So there's no possible. So for my bust, my waistline, I'll come to my new chest line. Okay. So this is our new chest line. Please don't forget. Our new chest line. Don't use this anymore. So I would mark out the difference between the front handle and back handle, like we always do. If you watched our tutorials enough, you will know that I always take out the difference between our front half length and back half length. So for this dress, there's a keyhole on this dress. You don't want the keyhole too deep also. Let's leave it at 1.5, so that by the time I'm done sewing it will go into 2. Okay, so the wideness of that keyhole, let's use 0.75 for the keyhole, so that by the time you open it, it won't be too wide, or 0.5. So this will be our keyhole. This will be our keyhole now for the dress. Remember I said there's a gathers by the side of the dress. So I told us that we really don't need our hip measurements as well. We really do not need our hip measurements as well. So from the waistline, come down from the waistline at 1.5. So remember I redirected my darts, like I said before. It was formerly 4.5. The darts is 4 inches plus my sewing allowance. That's 1.5. So I moved in 1 inch. From that 1 inch, I had to curve from that 1.5 below my waistline to this point. Okay, so now what you do next is measure what you have here. That will be the width of your gathers. Whatever it is you have here will now be the width of your gathers. Okay, we have it to be at 27. Okay, so when you on both sides will be 54, so I'll jot that down, times 2, which is 54. Okay, so remember gathers, when you want to make gathers, will be whatever it is you have here times 3 if you have enough fabric. If you don't have, times 1.5 times 2. But on the dress, the gathers is a bit full, so I will do 54 times 2.5 or times 3. Then the length of the gathers would be the highest of the remaining length of the dress, okay, which is at 20.5. 20.5. Remember the half an inch well to add on the length of the dress, so which will be at 21. So the total length of the gathers will be 21 by 54 times 2 or times 3. 21 by 54, yeah, times 2 or times 3. So we've gotten that part. So now at this point, at the top of our dress, you can actually leave it like this, because already we've gone down from the armhole, so there's no need going down more on the armhole. So what you do is when you cut this pattern out, you've done your front, you've done your back, you'll now return back whatever it is you took out. So let's check what we have here that I've taken out. I took out close to 8.75. I will jot that down as well. Okay, so this will be the length of the strip back with a cap sleeve by the side. So 8.75 will be the length of the sleeve that I would add, the length of the strap I'm going to add back. Okay, so in this line now, it goes to the waistline and that coming out a bit. So I'll also close this down like I did before, so we cut just it so they can all be accurate. So you see, I don't need the hip part anymore. I will replace that with my gathers. So I'll go ahead and cut out my darts. I'll remove the curve on the underboss. And cut it to the top. Okay. So I will open my boss dart and close it. The difference between my front and my back half length. That's what I'm doing now. So I'll close it down. Automatically I have sewn on it. and to enable the sides of my dart to be, the side of my pieces to be accurate. So I'll go ahead and shaping my bust now. So I want to come in here more because I want it to be firm on her chest line. Okay, I want to come in here more. I'll still do that when I'm drawing my pieces together and bring it back to my table to confirm the measurements. Okay, I'll cut this side as well and cut out this part. Okay, I'll cut out the chest line darts as well. And I'll go ahead and cut out the keyhole. Remember the keyhole? I'll cut it out as well. Okay. This is how my pieces will be looking. By the time I'm done joining them together, it will now form one piece, and I'll replace with my gathers on this side. Okay. My gathers will be the width of this on this side. Okay. So let me quickly draft the back and show us what to do on the back piece. Drafting on the back now. So same thing we did for the front, I will do for the back. So please pardon my paper. So the length of her dress is 38, sorry. Because my sewing allowance, which is at 39, I'm not adding any difference between front and back because there's no protruding bust at the back. So the total length of this dress will now be at 39. Okay, so this is my starting point. This will be my starting point now. Okay, so I will mark these lines outrightly so that they can all be equal. Then come back and show us what to do. Okay. So I've ruled all my lines. So the next thing I will do is to add my zipper allowance. I'll go ahead and add my zipper allowance at 1 inch all the way to the top. Okay. So I'm gonna ahead to add all my zipper allowance. So I'll move ahead with my accurate measurements now, which is at my chest line, my shoulder, which is at 8.5. I'll form that into a square. Okay, same thing I did for the front, I'm going to do for the back as well. 8.5 from my zipper allowance base. So the next will be my bust point. My bust point is 11.5 plus my sewing allowance, which will be at 12 inches. Okay, there's no under bust for the back. Now I will use my accurate back half length, which is at 16, which is sewing with my sewing allowance, which is 16.5. Then for my hip depth, I will do the same thing I did for the front 7, which is at 7.5. I told us I really don't need my hip measurements, so we'll just keep that for this. Okay, so I'm doing all these lines outright now. So the same thing I did for the front, I'm going to take out that 8.75 I did for my front. Okay, so this will now be my new chest line. Okay, this will now be my new chest line. I don't need this upper chest line anymore. Okay, my new chest line 8.75. Okay, I'll go ahead and repeat my darts the same way I did for the front. 4.5, same thing. Okay, 4.5. But for this now, I won't be taking as much as I took from the front. Okay, I won't be taking as much as I took from the front. So I'll take this 4.5 all the way to my chest line, roll it outrightly. Okay, and come back and show it. So I've rolled the line outrightly. So from my hip line, remember this is my new chest line, bust point, back half length, hip line. From my hip line, I'll go up 3 inches. Okay, this is where my darts will be stopping for my back. Okay, then at the waistline, I will take out 0.75 on both sides. She's a large size. I'll take out 0.75 on both sides. At the top, I'll take out half and half on both sides. Half and half on both sides. So I will roll this line to the top. Okay. Okay, so I'll roll this point as well. So this will be the darts for my back. I can go ahead and put in all my measurements now. My waist is 40 divided by 4, which is 10. 10. Okay. I hope you can see my chopping. Okay. The waist is 40 divided by 4, which is 10. Include my darts, which is 1.5. Okay. Plus my sewing allowance, which is 2 inches. plus my the sewing allowance I used to join it together. That's half an inch, which is at 2 inches. Okay, I will need also 2 inches sewing allowance to sew. But by the time I'm done, I would take out what I want to take there. The hip is 52 divided by 4, 13. I'll need half an inch to join together, but I don't really need it sharp. But let's just complete the curve, and I will need 1.5 inch sewing allowance. Okay, I'm going to do this line half right here, so you can see very well. So I'll go ahead and impute my bust measurement now. So her bust is 44 divided by 4, which is 11. Okay, I'll check the dot that passes through and know how many it is, so I can replace it. 1.75, 1.3, 1.3. Okay. Okay. So I'll add half an inch to join the dots together, and also I will need my 1.5 sewing allowance to join. So whatever it is I have on the top, I'll take it to the accurate chest line now, which is at 15. But while doing that, I would also check that the dots are corresponding with this one or lower than this one. Okay, so this one is actually 1.3 and this is 1.2, so it's okay. It will include in all my measurements. So I'll connect all these lines together now. Okay, this with the help of my French cord, I'll connect this from waist to hip. So what I did was connect from the waist to the chest line. Okay, from the waist to the chest line, then from my waist to my hip I connected with my French cord. So whatever it is I have here, I'll take it to the lower part of my dress. I'll take it to the lower part of my dress. Okay, I have 15.25. To take it as well, 15.25 all the way down. I really do not need this, it's just for emphasis sake. Okay, so now, like I did for the front, I redirected my darts. I will take out 1 inch from here, so this will now be my new dart leg and not this one. Okay, I'll redraw this dart line. Okay, so it will be looking like this, like this, like this, like this. Have you subscribed to my channel yet? Please subscribe, like and share. So from my waistline, like I did for the front, I will come down 1.5 inch and make a curve. Okay, a sewing curve that will connect all my points together. So please watch me as I fold. Okay. So from my waistline now, I'll make the curve. Why? So this will be my curve. I hope you can see it like I did for the front. This will be my curve. Okay. So I'll check the width of what I have here. The width of what I have here times 2 or times 3. Remember your fabric will be on fold. Times 2 or times 3. The same thing I did for the front. Or you can wait when you're done joining your sides together of your front piece and back piece. You measure the width of what you have all the way. Then the length will now be by 21. Remember, let's check the length of this. It might give us a slight difference because there's a bust in front. Okay, so here now we're having 21.25. so you see the slight difference. Okay, so I will go ahead and cut. I will contour the waistline, don't forget, so that the zipper will not be bulging at the back. So which is a large size, I will take out 0.75 on this side from the zipper allowance. Okay, 0.75, so that by the time I'm sewing my zip will be following a curve into the waistline. Okay, so I'll go ahead and connect all my cords together. So from this 0.75, I'll come outwards this way to the chest line, to the accurate chest line now. Okay, then from this point I'll connect my French cord. That's it for this class. And you might want to taper the back as well. Here 0.4, so that the lower part of the back will not be dangling. Okay? So just go ahead and connect. So this is how it will look now. I will cut from here now, follow the shape. And now this will be my new chest line and all that. So I'll quickly cut now and show us what to do next. So remember, you're going to add back your 8.75 like I said before. Remember, you've taken out 8.75, so the length of your strap now will now be at 8.75. Then with your cap sleeve, you can add your cap sleeve to it. So I want to slope this center back a bit. This is our center back. This is the armhole part. Okay, I want to slope, I want to come down a bit, that you can have like a bit of a V behind on the zipper part. Okay, let's see if we can 1 inch. So I would slope a bit so the back can be looking curvy. Okay, so it won't be all straight at the back. You can give us a V curve here. Okay, so I'll roll this into the zipper part. Okay, so this from here now, I know what to do next. So let's cut. Okay, I'm cutting out the zipper part. So this outfit, I will line the upper part, but I will not line the gathers part. So I will line and put my hairstay on it so I can give it a firm look. At the end of the day, you see the finished product of this beautiful piece. So please, if you're still not like, share and subscribe, please help us. Okay? Thank you. So now I will close up my that so that by the time I cut it, one will not be short now. I will just close up my that and withdraw my slope line. Okay? So this now will be my new slope line. This will now be my new slope line. Okay? So I can go ahead and cut it now. I'm opening my darts now. I'm first cut through my darts leg. Cut out my darts. So remove the darts completely. I would indicate my zipper side. I would indicate my zipper side so as not to be confused. So this is my zipper side. Okay. Now I'll cut out my curve. Like you do to the front. Cut out my waistline, chest line. Okay, so that's basically it for the back piece. So this is how my back piece will be looking. Okay, so I'll cut this now right here, my fabric and the lining. My fabric and the lining. Cut my wadding, cut my stay, my hair stay. So this will be my front and the back. Okay, so this is my front and the back. This is the back piece and this is the front piece. So I'll go ahead and include. So guys, I forgot one more thing. So while drafting this pattern, I looked carefully at the picture and I found out that there was a cape. There's a cape on the chest line. Okay, so remember I've cut up my dart already. So I would place this dart in such a way that it will be looking like I have sewn on it. Okay, so I can draft out my cape. Okay, so let's say for instance I have sewn on it by 1/2 inch. Okay, so I would now check my bust measurements divided by 4 plus my sewing allowance. That will be the width of my cape. So remember, I've taken out a keyhole from here. Remember, I've taken out a keyhole from the center. This is my center. So I'll put it on the edge of my table so I can have a very accurate measurement while I'm taking my bust divided by 4 plus my sewing allowance. So this is the center fold of my table as well. So I'll just put it there for accuracy. Okay. Okay. So I'll put it from the beginning of my table. Remember, I've taken out and I was not so sure about what I took out. So I will place it on the center of my table. My bust divided by 4 plus my sewing allowance. Her bust is at 44 divided by 4, which is 11. So I will look for that 11 now plus my sewing allowance. So this is my 11. I already made a mark there plus my sewing allowance. So this is my sewing allowance. So my cape will now start from this point. Okay, so I will get a piece of paper now to place it under this pattern so I can trace out my cape. So my cape would be 3 inches. 3 inches. I want it to be 3 inches wide. Okay, 3 inches wide or 2.5. I think 3 inches is too much. Let's do it at 2.75. Okay, this will now be the width of my cape, and I'll be cutting this cape on bias so I can balance well on the chest line. So from the tip of this keyhole we made, I would measure 2.75. okay, and draw this line outrightly. I will link all this 2.75 outrightly. Okay, so this is my 2.75. Okay, so at this beginning of my keyhole, okay, the beginning of my keyhole, I want to come in more, okay, so that the cape will not go directly to this side. I want to come in more. Okay, so I will trace this on my pattern paper now. Okay, I will trace this on my pattern paper. I found my tracing wheel, so whenever you're tracing, always put a fabric underneath so you can see your traces very clear. Okay, so I will trace now and cut. So I'll start tracing from after the keyhole. Okay, I'll trace the length of the cape. Okay, then I can go ahead and cut because I want to make an indication. So let's just lift this up. Okay, I'll cut on this chest line now. So now I can take out the actual piece and leave out this. So this is my cape. Let's just put it there. This is the chest line, so I don't forget. Okay, so this is the armhole part. Okay, so a trick for us guys now. If there are two ways to cut this cape now on your fabric. It's either you cut it on bias, so you can lay around the chest line when the person wears it, can lay very well, or you go ahead and slash and spread. You slash and spread so that whoever wears this, it can accommodate the chest line whenever the person wears it. I think I will cut this on bias so that when the person wears it and the bust stretches around the chest line, it can balance very well. If you want to go ahead and cut and slash and spread, you just fold your pattern in 2 pieces, open it, get a crease line, slash here open to the chest line and put it on your fabric. By then you will have space at the middle, so automatically it has formed a bias form for you when you're putting on your fabric. Go ahead and add your sewing allowance all around, but I'll cut on bias so it can balance very well on the chest line. So this is the cape that I forgot to add. Okay, so I've gone ahead to place my patterns on my pieces. See how I managed my patterns, how I managed my pieces for the fabric. Okay, so I'll go ahead now and cut. I'll cut this same thing on my fabric, the same thing on my lining. I'll cut a hairstay as well, cut the wording for the bustier, then I'll get to sewing and I'll show us the end product. So guys, this is the sleeve part, the strapless part. So I folded in such a way I have the folded edge folded into 4 for each sleeve. So I will use one as my lining, use one as my fabric. So the length is at 8.75. Note I didn't add any sewing allowance. By the time you add sewing allowance to this, it will be dropping off from your shoulder. So for the width of at the top at that folded edge, I used 2.5 inch sewing allowance. 2.5 inch sewing allowance. So I made a curve from so I'll add my 1/2 inch first, then from that altogether, which is 3, then from there I'll make a curve to that 8.75. So I'm making the curve to 8.75 now, and I'll make my cuts now. Note I didn't add any sewing allowance on the length of the sleeve. Please, when you use your accurate strap measurements to cut it, is always balancing up on the shoulder. If you add your sewing allowance, it will drop off your shoulder. So that's the trick I use. So I will follow the shape of the curve now, and I'm making that curve now. So we finally made the curve now. So I'll go ahead now and notch the middle part. With that I will know this is my center fold, and that's the part that will be on my shoulder. I'll go ahead and add my stay, I don't need the lining, I'll just add my stay to it. Okay, then after which I will still trim off little from that 8.75. All these tricks, all these little tricks amount a lot. All these things I didn't get to amend any part of the shoulder seam. After she wore the dress, it was perfect on her. Okay, so I'll go ahead and add my stay and everything and get to sewing. So I'll sew on that part on 1/2 inch after adding my stay. Okay, so this is how the sleeve will be looking like on the dress. So this part which I'm pointing at now currently is what will be on the front side on the tube. Okay, so I got my dress. So from the dart line, remember the dart line which we made, from the dart line outwards I will go out 3 inches. That is where this strap would be. From the dart line I'll go out 3 inches, both for the front and the back. So that is where my sleeve would be, and this other part will be on the sleeve on the back as well. So